Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 Barbie movies. Now, of course, we did do these videos way back when we first started this channel, but we have since decided that we want to do them again because our favorite Barbie movies have changed a little bit, and also we just have more to say on them now, I suppose. So that is why we have decided to remake them. Now, before I get into my top 5, I decided that I will do a honorable mention. I wasn't quite sure if I would, but considering all of my top 5 Barbie movies are of that classic first generation Barbie time, I thought I would do an honorable mention of a movie that I really love, which is from that second generation, is actually classed as a classic Barbie movie because it was a long time ago now that it was released, and to me it's very classic, but it's not a classic Barbie movie. You all know what I mean. But my honorable mention is Barbie Princess Charm School. I have watched this movie hundreds and hundreds of times. I mean, obviously I can say that for all the Barbie movies, but this is definitely one of my most watched Barbie movies. I watched it like maybe 2 or 3 times a year at least. I just watched it very recently actually. I find that I watch it a lot, usually before like a big change in my life or like something new, I suppose. I recently just got a new job, so I watched it the night before I started, and I actually did that the night before I got my old job as well. So it's usually my go-to movie for inspiration and comfort when I'm anxious and scared about new things, I guess. And I love it because Blair works a similar job to me in the movie, so I can always really relate to her, and I just really relate to her character in general. Just having very little confidence in herself, I guess, but then just watching her grow throughout the movie and just become this amazing princess that she was always meant to be. I could say obviously a lot more about it, but I love this movie so much. I love the feeling of it. Really want to go to Princess Charm School one day. I think that is every Barbie girl's dream. Yeah, I love it. I love the songs, listen to them all the time. Such a good movie. It was actually one of the very first Barbie movies I watched, I think. Yeah, such a classic. I don't know what else I can say about it. I just love it so much. So yes, it is my honorable mention number 6 favorite Barbie movie. Number 5 is Mariposa and Her Butterfly Fairy Friends. I've always liked Mariposa a lot because, of course, I am all about fairies and also butterflies, so of course the idea of butterfly fairies is very appealing to me. But the reason why this movie is so special to me is because of how much I relate to the character of Mariposa herself. She is an introverted bookworm with a lot of inner fears and insecurities. She's always sensed that she was different to those surrounding her, and this would often beg the question of inferiority in her mind. But Mariposa is very brave. Throughout the movie, we see her battle with her insecurities, fears, and self-doubt. There are certain scenes which clearly show how deep those kinds of struggles can be. But in the end, we see the courage that was in her all along, helping her overcome those things and discover worth inside of herself. She learns that her being different doesn't take away from her value, nor does it mean that there is anything wrong with her. In the sequel, we see that Mariposa still struggles with a lot of these self-confidence issues, which shows that it's not something that's overcome so quickly or easily. However, we do see growth in her, and her courage is also able to inspire another fearful heart in Princess Catania. I think this is so lovely to see, and I guess the reason why I love Mariposa so much is because out of all the characters that Barbie has portrayed, I connect most deeply with Mariposa, both in her struggles and her journey in overcoming them. It's really beautiful to watch, and I find I'm inspired by this story more and more every time I watch it. Number 4 is Barbie and the Magic of Pegasus. If we've mentioned it once, we've mentioned it 1,000 times on this channel. We love the magic of Pegasus. Honestly, who couldn't? There's so much to love about this movie. The overall setting of the movie is so pretty. I personally love the winter aesthetic, and the color palette is gorgeous. I find every character is lovable in their own way. I think we can all agree that we love the depth of character that was given to Ken's character, Aiden, in this movie, and to the relationship between him and Annika. Then there's Annika herself. Aside from Mariposa, she is the most inspirational role of Barbie to me. I relate to her strong will and to the hope in her heart that never dies, even when all hope would appear to be lost. I love how she never gives up on what matters most to her, and how she encourages that same hope in others. It shows how truly infectious that kind of thing can be. I also love the humility that she possesses, which is not something I often hear said about her character, but it takes a lot of strength to admit when you've made a mistake. Annika has a strong and courageous heart, and is fearless when it comes to the things and the people that she loves. This is why I relate to her, but I am also greatly inspired by her. But as we know, it is not only the main character, but also the whole message of this movie being that there is always hope. And as simple as it is, it's powerful, and I believe we all need to be reminded of this often. That's why I love this movie so much, because it always serves as the most beautiful reminder of the most important truth. Number 3, Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses. The amount of times I have watched this movie in the last year alone, not even counting how many times I've watched it in general. It is one of those that I have seen so many times that the lines from the characters come into my own everyday dialogue. Now, all Barbie movies are like this, of course, but to me, there has always been something extra soothing about the 12 Dancing Princesses. I would say the number one thing is the music. Each score in this film is absolutely heavenly. I also really love the setting. The palace where they live, the lush green hills and streams surrounding it, their mother's dance pavilion, it's all so gorgeous to me. I think their regular home is magical, not to mention the gorgeous magical lands that they visit. I would say that out of all of the Barbie movie worlds, this one is probably my favorite. Whenever I dream of running away to some place quiet and peaceful, I always think of the 12 Dancing Princesses world, and honestly, it is such a desire of my heart to go there, and it upsets me sometimes that I can't. And of course, the story is very heartwarming as well. Overall, I think I just love the general atmosphere of this movie and the level of calm that it brings to me. Even the game does the same thing for me. There's just something about the world of the 12 Dancing Princesses. It is definitely my number 1 go-to Barbie comfort movie. Number 2, Barbie as Rapunzel. Where do I even begin? Well, as I've made it quite obvious by now, I am a really big fan of the tale of Rapunzel in general. It is one that has always connected with me a lot, and there's something so wonderful, beautiful, and unique about the way that Barbie tells the story. This one gives me similar feelings to that of Magic of Pegasus. Katie and I often joke that there's just something about the purple-themed Barbie movies. It's just that extra special something that you can't describe. The story, the music, which is also from heaven, by the way, the setting, the color palette, everything about Rapunzel makes me feel so warm inside. It is impossible not to feel peaceful and happier when you watch it. I admit that every time I do watch it, it does make me wish that Barbie would go back to making those kinds of movies, even though I know it is sadly beyond us now, but truly nothing gets better than this. It is hard to put my love for Rapunzel into words, but I simply adore the beautiful feelings that this movie gives me, and I think anyone who adores classic Barbie movies can understand what I mean. I love this movie so much that it is very, very close to being my favorite, but I just cannot ever bear to part with my favorite, which is Barbie of Swan Lake. Now, I've told the story quite a few times that Swan Lake was the first Barbie movie I ever watched, and I was 14 at the time, so I was a teenager when I first found the movies, and I was enchanted by it. And that is when Barbie really came into my world and became a part of my life. So I guess that being the beginning of it all for me makes this movie forever so near and dear to my heart. Swan Lake is also my favorite ballet. There's just something so mystical and enchanting about it, and of course Barbie makes that even more so. I also love the world of this movie. Besides 12 Dancing Princesses, it's probably my favorite. The Enchanted Forest is, well, it's enchanting. I want to live there, or at least be able to visit. It is such a beautiful place with the lake and everything. I would happily get lost there forever. It is so magical. I also love the character of Odette. She's very similar to Mariposa in many ways, I think, and also quite similar to myself. I love watching her journey of discovering strength and bravery within herself, and it's a story that has become so intertwined with my own. I always remember Odette in this movie, and I think about it a lot when I need to find courage for anything. It's also hard to find more words for this one, really. All I can say is that I just love this movie so much, and I will forever love and treasure it for bringing the magic of Barbie movies into my life. And that is my top 5 Barbie movies. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Of course, feel free to comment what your favourite Barbie movies are, and let's discuss. It is always one of my favourite topics. And hopefully Katie's video will be up soon, fingers crossed. So stay tuned for that one, and I will see you in